Shawn, I guess you wouldn't have imagined in your wildest dreams that the Wildcats would be playing against you in Japan.
No, I mean, obviously, for a couple of years I've mentioned to the club about taking our team down to Australia. It's thought it'd be a great experience for our club, and then when Danny rang me and said he was trying to organise a trip to Japan, I jumped at the opportunity knowing that we had good facilities and could accommodate the Wildcats, and thankfully it's come into fruition.
When did that first phone call happen, and I guess when did you think, hang on, this is actually a serious chance of happening?
What was it, about a month ago, I guess, Danny contacted me, and I really wanted to make it happen, so I went straight to management and said, hey, can we make this happen? And sometimes, in Japan, getting things organised quickly is not easy, and so it's been pretty amazing we've been able to pull it off.
What's it like catching up with a couple of familiar faces? Jesse Wagstaff, who you coached back in your Wildcats days, and Keanu Pinder as well. You saw him during his very, very young years in basketball, and now he's grown into a superstar of the competition.
It's been so cool to watch, since leaving the Wildcats in 2013 to take the Townsville job, and watching the success of the club that, you knew was inevitable. I think I said recently in another interview that, to be part of the Wildcats family is a great honour, and once you're in there and part of it, you see why the success is there. And to watch Jesse go through and still be playing, I think he's 37 now, whatever he is. It's quite phenomenal, and he still contributes at such a high level. And watching Keanu, who was a skinny young kid who just came in and he's doing some work experience with BWA, and we brought him over and he joined practice. You could see the moment he, I think it was one of the first times he drove into the basket and just eyeballed the rim and threw it down, and you're just like, wow, look at this kid, and to watch him now being so good and watch him mature into the player he has, I think it's just amazing, and having a player like Jesse, who's such a level-headed guy and always was as a leader, can only be great for all the young kids who are part of the Wildcats now.
You got to catch up with Jesse briefly yesterday at training. Do you remember what he said to you or what you said to him?
Yeah. It was basically, my gosh, how long has it been, and how's the family, and I guess things you normally ask, and it was so brief, and just talked about how much I'm enjoying Japan, and and he talked about really he just loves Perth and doesn't see himself going anywhere, and I said I've grown to be the same. I don't see myself leaving Japan anytime soon. Lani and I love it here, and particularly in Nagoya. It's such a beautiful city and such an easy city to get around with, size-wise, and it's very similar to Perth to me. And within an hour to 90 minutes, we're out in the bush, and we love getting out in the bush and finding waterfalls. So it's just a beautiful place to be.
And you've had a lot of experience in both leagues now. How does the B League compare to the NBL?
I mean, to be honest, the NBL, in terms of probably talent and level of play, is still higher. But to watch the way the B League's grown, it's only been one league for 8 years, and I've been lucky enough to be here the whole time and involved in coaching. And the improvement from when it began to now is substantial. The quality of imports we get now. It was a place where in the past, imports came here at the end of their careers hoping to get 3 or 4 more years of paydays, whereas now we're getting guys in their prime. For us, we've got Luke May, who's only 27. We just brought in Zylan Cheatham, who the Wildcats fans would know from New Zealand, who's in his prime. When we brought in Scott 3 years ago, he was in his prime in Europe, and they're the types of players we're getting now. And from a coaching standpoint, when I first came to the league, I think there was 2 foreign coaches in the league. Now there's 24 teams. There's 12 foreign coaches in the league, and a coach that the Wildcats fans know and love, Trevor Gleason's just come over this year to coach the Chiba Jets. So the quality of coaching's increasing, the quality of play is increasing, the quality of imports is increasing, the crowds are going through the roof. I mean, last year we were 3rd in crowd average. That's something that the Dolphins have never done. We're like the Wildcats all those years ago when I was there. We're about to move from a 5,000 seat stadium to a 17,000 seat stadium. So similar to when they went from Challenge into, I think it's called RAC Arena now. So, that's the sort of thing where this is going. In 2 years' time, we have what's going to be called the B Premier League, and everybody's got to have a minimum of 4,000 members. You've got to have a minimum of, I think it's 5,500 seat stadium to be part of it. You know, the budgets are much bigger than Australia. That's the one thing. You know, I think the team that spends the most, I think their budget's around 12 to 13 million dollars. So, you know, it's the money is really in there. The resources are better. You know, when I first got to the Wildcats, I think there was Bevo and myself was full-time. We had Andy Stewart, you know, the manager was part-time, everyone else was part-time, you know, and now even in Australia, you have full-time managers, full-time, you know, every club has 3 to 4 assistant coaches full-time with video analysis and all that. Whereas here I have, I think it's 12 staff now under me. So, you know, that's the sort of thing you have here, and it's just amazing to be part of and watch this thing grow.
And you're hoping this could be the start of a real relationship between the Dolphins and the Wildcats?
I would love it to be. I mean, Wildcats are red, Dolphins are red. You know, when I came in, they asked what the slogan was, and I came up with Fear the Red. You know, and I've always thought about, you know, the Red Army, and you know, our fans, we call it the Dole family now, is starting to remind me of the Red Army. They've become very loud and vocal. They love the way we play, the way we represent the community, and it's just like the Wildcat days when I was there. You know, I'm starting to feel the same sort of vibe around the team with the community support and the love of the team. And you go into our arena and it's starting to become all red, you know. So I think to have that relationship with the Wildcats would be amazing, you know. And then I'd love to see fans come in and, you know, everybody's in red. It's just brilliant.
And you mentioned bringing that sort of Wildcats culture to the Dolphins as well. Do you feel like you've done that successfully?
I think we've done it amazingly, you know, and you see on the wall behind you, you see our team culture, our team identity, and the job descriptions, all the things that were done, that Bevo started to do back in the early days, you know, and we've followed on from that here. And why wouldn't you want to be like the Wildcats? I mean, they've been the most successful team on and off the court in the history of the NBL, you know, and hopefully under the new ownership they'll continue that same way, which certainly all signs are good, you know, and I think that's something you want to emulate. You know, you want to emulate champions, and I'd love nothing better. You know, this club's never won a B-League championship. They've actually never won a championship. They've won 2 Emperor's Cups. So, you know, last year we made the semi-finals for the first time in the club history. So for me, if we can start to reach out and get close to what the Wildcats done, we'll start to bring some championships to the Dolphins as well.
There's talks of potentially having a Japanese team eventually in the NBL.
Sorry, I'm just gonna move your mic a tiny bit because it's kind of rubbing on your skin.
Yep, I get it.
Oh, good, no worries.
It's all good, we don't have to...
No, it's all good.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
The NBL talked about having a Japanese team there potentially. What are your thoughts on that? And see the people of Japan adopting the Wildcats as their team potentially?
Oh, it'd be fantastic. But I think, I mean, it would be amazing, but logistically, I think there'd be great challenges. You know, I remember when Singapore came into the league, you know, and there were massive logistical challenges just getting to Singapore and, you know, getting to Japan. You know, well, as you saw from Perth, there's no direct flights from Perth. So you either got to go via Sydney or you've got to take an airline and go through their home, like Singapore Airlines through Singapore or Cathay Pacific through Hong Kong. And so I think it would present interesting challenges. I mean, but obviously it would be incredible because basketball in this country, you know, with the success of the Japanese women's team winning the silver medal at Tokyo, the men's team now being competitive on the world stage and making the Olympics, you know, from the World Championships for the first time. The game is just growing and growing, you know, and having Hachimura and Watanabe playing in the NBA, you know, as superstars, you know, not just particularly Hachimura, you know, players who actually play, is really growing the sport. And with everything the B-League's doing, it's really growing, you know, and it's getting to a stage now where the players are becoming heroes, you know, and it's becoming a huge sport. So we would love to see it, and I hope it can be worked out, and I think it would be something that would be incredible to be part of, you know, particularly being Australian.
Perfect. Thanks for your time, Shawn, and obviously your hospitality while we're in Nagoya as well. Really appreciate it.
A shout out to the Red Army that, you know, we're trying to get our guys as loud as the Red Army, and if we can get close to that, boy, we're going to win some games.